torch is Hutameh. It is the fire of Allah that burns in the hearts. It is a fire that burns the hearts. It will be closed and locked in the faces of such. They will be between tall pillars in hell.
The word Mumedada in verse 9 of Surah El-Humazah, Fi Amadim Mumedada, is a type of pillar, that is to say, tall pillars whose doors are reinforced and whose lids are placed on them are much stronger than others. It is mentioned in the Tafsir of Ufi that Ibn Abbas said about the verse,
They are in tall pillars.
The doors are closed in their faces, and they are placed on poles, and the poles are extended over them. And there are chains around their necks. And with these chains, the doors are locked. Ibn Abbas said, The flames of hellfire will rise in the form of pillars. Ibn Zayd said about this verse, Inside hell there are iron poles fastened together with shackles. Those poles are made of fire. They are ignited with fire and extended to them. Sud said, when the verse is read as Fi Amedin, it means poles of fire. When it is recited as Fi Umidin, it means for a long time. According to some scholars, elongated poles are long chains and ties, knots. Ismail b. Abi Khalid narrated from Abi Salih and El-Kalbi from Zubayt, and he narrated from Ibrahim that Abdullah b. Masud said about the verse,
They are in tall pillars.
It means chains and knots. Ibn Abi Dunya reported through Khalaf b. Khalifa that Abu Hashim said, In hell, poles will be prepared with chains tied to their necks. Then hell will take them for 500 years, and one day will be completed.
When they are thrown into a narrow and cramped place of it with their hands tied around their necks, they wish to perish therein, and cry out, O destruction! Where are you, O death? Come!
Ka'b said, In hell there are tandurs, like the tip of a spear. These tanduri pipes will be passed over people according to their deeds. Ibn Abi Hatim narrated from Sa'id b. Jubair that in one of the valleys of hell a man calls out, O Henan, O Menan, for 1,000 years. Allah Ta'ala said to Gabriel, Take my servant out of there, O Gabriel. Gabriel came and found him completely covered with iron bars. Gabriel said to his Lord, O Lord, he is bound and covered with iron bars. What are the pillars of fire, the high pillars in hell? What are the tandurs of fire, with one side like the tip of a spear? What does it mean that the tall pillars are chains, ties, and knots? Above the photosphere layer of the Sun is the chromosphere layer. This layer is about 10,000 kilometers thick. The temperature in the lower part of the chromosphere is about 4,800 Kelvin. The temperature then gradually increases with increasing altitude. Thus, at an altitude of 2,000 kilometers, the temperature reaches 20,000 Kelvin. During a total solar eclipse, when the moon completely covers the photosphere of the Sun, the pink ring surrounding the dark solar disk is the chromosphere. The chromosphere has an unusual structure. There is a chromospheric network in the chromosphere, a luminous structure consisting of a myriad of numerous pits that are better seen in the H-alpha red line of hydrogen and the ultraviolet line of ionized calcium, Ca2k. These cavities are created by multiple nodes of a strong magnetic field. The chromosphere network is a nested structure of long and thin chains of bright and weakly contrasting spots. The bright spots of the chromosphere network are accompanied by dark spicules, which are smaller structural derivatives of the chromosphere. Spicules are derivatives similar to the small debris that is better seen at the Sun's terminus, and are most abundant along the chromospheric network. They are all found at the edge of the supergranules. There are always up to 1 million spicules on the Sun. Spicules are tubular poles half the height of the Earth and half the width of a state. They are filled with boiling gas moving at 50,000 kilometers per hour. These poles are made of transparent luminous magnetic fields, and these spicules filled with boiling gas are rows of tubular poles that are gas cameras. The temperature of the spicules between the gas poles is up to 20,000 Kelvin at 2,000 kilometers above the base of the chromosphere. Moreover, the height of each spicule reaches 7,000 to 12,000 kilometers, and its thickness is 1,000 kilometers. Moving at a speed of 4 to 20 kilometers per second, the spicules ascend 12,000 kilometers from the chromosphere to the solar halo, where they fade, melt, and dissolve. Through the spicules, matter is exchanged between the chromosphere and the solar halo above the chromosphere. Inside the spicules, matter flows from the surface of the Sun into the boiling solar halo at a speed of 20 to 30 kilometers per second. At the same time, the matter in the solar halo descends into the chromosphere. The spicules give rise to a larger structure called the chromosphere network. Which, unlike the grains, is created by wave motions from the larger and deeper elements of the convection field beneath the photosphere. Spicules are elongated, radially elongated fires of lance-shaped tubular poles of boiling, bright gases. Spicules pile up on elements or spread along its length, making it difficult to observe. Spicules are spouts emanating from the elements of the chromosphere network. The bushes of spicules end at the lower level. At the boundaries of the network and extend upwards. The rows of spicule pipe poles, one of the derivatives of the Sun's chromosphere layer, are the fiery poles that exist in hell.
Tightly secured with long braces.
The height of the spicule columns is up to 12,000 kilometers, which is half the height of the Earth. The 9th verse of Surah el-Humazah also states that the pillars are tall. The spicules at the poles of the Sun are even taller. The verse also says that people will be inside these pillars. The spicules are rows of pipe pillars the width of a state, and boiling gases are moving in these pipes.
And when they are thrown into its cramped confines, with their hands tied around their necks, they wish to perish there.
Cobb said about the verse, "In hell there are tandurs like the tips of spears. Their narrowness is narrower than the hole of the iron that serves as a butt end under one of you. These tandurs will be passed over people according to their deeds." The tandur, narrowed like the tip of a spear, are likewise spicules in which gases boil at up to 20,000 Ke and move at about 50,000 kilometers per hour. The spicules are narrowed at one point, giving them the appearance of spear-like pipe holes of fire. People in hell will be thrown into these spicules, and gases with temperatures measured in the hundreds of thousands will cook them like bread in a tandur. Ibn Zayd said about the verse,
in long poles.
Inside hell, there are iron poles that are clamped together. Those poles are made of fire. They are ignited with fire and extended. The long pillars of hell are clamped together. The spicules are spouts from the elements of the magnetic chromosphere network. The spicules, piled up near the boundaries of the cavities that make up the chromosphere network, are connected to each other. According to some scholars, it means elongated poles, chains, and knots. Spicules are spouts from the elements of the chromospheric network of nodes, thousands of kilometers in diameter. The chromospheric network in which spicules are found is in the form of knots. The chromosphere network is a hollow structure of long chains. The magnetic field of the chromospheric network covering the entire solar disk is in the hollows of the cavities, and the spicules, composed of transparent magnetic fields, end in the hollows of this network and are attached to these magnetic field cavities as if by clamps. Spicule poles are derivatives of the elements of the chromosphere network of chains or knots.
They will be in long poles, spicules in hell.